feel like the Krieger fish hunter's been getting a lot of love lately. Yo, what's up, Blunty? Young Fisherman, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Young Fisherman. Thanks again for the follow. I'm going to start off at 55 meter. we'll see how it goes. And we'll probably end up back at 34. Your Bolo Popple for my chat? Okay, sounds good. What level are you? $48. Dang, you're not a young fisherman. I mean, you might be in real life. Controller Dan says, have you noticed active spots has been removed now for 2 weeks? Yeah, well, I shouldn't say that I noticed that. Blunty let me know that. Wait. RF4 active spots? No, that's not true. There's still active spots. Right? Like I'm looking one from 5 hours ago. By the way, Blunty has his own site that I have been using. Hopefully y'all know about this. I mean, it's part of his bigger site, but there's Blunty's if you want to check out some spots from that site. And you can still sort it by location, which is what I like to do. So if I go Norwegian Sea, oh, interesting. Here's somebody that says the 6.502 is better than what I'm, well, I don't know if they're saying it's better. It's what they used, and it seemed to work really good. Oh, they also went down to a 45. Leader. So that would be like, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. That would be like if we went with, instead of this one, which we could do one of this other one too. We don't have to just do one, but they were using 6.502. But the other difference is they went down to 45 line, which I think as long as you keep it up in the top, like I support this idea, as long as you're going to keep it at like 15 meters. If I decide to go down to the bottom with it, because you know some people are catching those meagers or whatever they're called on the shrimp, so you don't want to like go to the bottom and then I don't know. Bones Fishing, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Greetings, welcome. The site you showed on here is gone. That's not right, Dan. It's still active. Here, I'll show you I'll pull it up real quick. Hold on. Here is what Elk Lake looks like on active spots. But I do recommend using Blunty's site. I mean, but yeah, I mean, Both of those spots, both of those sites are still working good for me. Blunty said it went back up after they announced it shutting down a couple weeks ago. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so Blunty had told me about it going down, and then since I've been doing that leveling series, I've typically looked at Blunty's site and active RF4 active spots, and it's been doing great. Both of them have been doing great. You can't see it in the UK right now, Dan? That's crazy. All right, we're at 55, so I'm using the Borealica. We're not going to go with the Raptor for this. Plus, this is more likely gonna, if we catch anything, it'll be hopefully bigger fish. We'll see how it goes. You saved Blunties. Oh, good. Glad that's working for you. I'm, per usual, I'm probably not up for a really slow bite rate. So I thought we'd give this a try for a couple minutes and just see what it's like, and I can try to make some adjustments to it to increase the bite rate. But if we can't get it going pretty good, then I'm going to head back to 34 because that was just fun fishing the other day. When it went down, I decided to do spots. Since sites keep popping up and going away, I added all the spots from the main web chat group in a big Russian Telegram scraper and displayed the last 3 days of records, scraping once an hour. Yo, that's awesome, Blunty. Thank you so much. That's really cool. STS Boom the second with a trophy common roach. You a software engineer, Blunty, or just code for fun? I have no idea how to code. It's all done by Claude. There's a lot of work to steer it right, feature design, scope, etc., but I don't do any coding. Wow, that's amazing. Power of AI, huh? It's kind of amazing. RAM went up by another. Really? The RAM's been really expensive for a while now. Is that right? Because of AI? Is that the main culprit? So it's like more expensive to build a computer or get a computer these days? Emil says, what are you coding with Claude? I think the website, the way it's like running everything and scraping from other sites and stuff. RAM storage, GPU prices are just insanely stupid. Is there any end in sight to all that, or is it unpredictable? I guess there's limited resources and like the demand has gone way up because of AI. Is that right? What's up, Javon? All right, let's see if this fish was worth it. I don't know how long we've been out here, but it did seem like a pretty slow bite rate. RAM price is insane. I paid 580 euros for 32 gigabyte DDR5. Big companies have bought out the chip production of major companies that make memory. 4 terabyte SSD I bought for my PS5 years ago cost me 300 GBP. Now you're talking 800 for the same thing. They're backlogged for years. Really? Do you think the market will supply change? In other words, will all of this demand create new companies, new product lines, or are the resources that they're pulling from, that's a cod, are the resources that they're pulling from just limited and so not available to ramp up? That makes sense? 20-kilo cod. Okay, not my favorite fish to catch in this situation, but it's also not nothing in terms of silver and XP. AI has honestly ruined the home PC and console market. There are a bunch of companies in China that are working to compete. Some RAM is being sold now from those companies, but it's been 3 companies basically making all the good storage chips for a long time. They have a monopoly basically, and Collude have been sued over it. Look up Gamers Nexus. He's saying that the state of market, at minimum, that's the end of the home PC. I'm making some stone flies. Nice, Javon. And then Emil just said some things that I'm not sure I know how to say. Are those technical terms? Or are those company terms? Oh, Steven is a software engineer, so Steven can probably shed some light from a little bit more informed perspective. Technical, okay. Steven says, I would love the AI bubble to pop. Okay. Right now, obviously, it's just like, it's too much money, right? I mean, people are making too much money on it. Samsung pull out RAM and storage market, we're screwed even more. Everyone's expecting a correction, we just don't know when and how big. Gotcha. Yeah, the market will correct, but that doesn't mean there still might not be consequences or things could be permanently different, I guess. Vibe coding is awesome for people who don't know how to code or want to build something for fun. But in the profession field, I want to pull my hair out if someone tries to vibe code. I don't even know what vibe coding is. Dan said I plan on upgrading, going to DDR5, then the AI managed, but even my DDR fam 4 RAM took a 4 times price increase. Better learn real code and use vibe coding for digging gold, reversing stuff. Vibe coding is here. Build it yourself. Vibe coding is software development approach where you use natural language prompts to have AI generate, iterate, and deploy apps for you. Coined by AI researcher Andre Karpathy, it shifts the focus from writing manual syntax to orchestrating ideas. You describe your vision, test the AI's output, and refine it through conversation. It sounds like that basically is a fancy way of saying coding for people that don't know how to code. You don't actually write any code yourself. I got you, Steven. Try one more. See how it goes. See how it goes. That's amazing, y'all. Yeah, I don't know anything about that stuff. What's up, Casimir? Casimir, I guess you were happy with oh, the result yesterday. I think if I was an England fan, I would have some serious questions for the strategy that my team used after scoring that goal. I mean, I shouldn't say everyone I know because I didn't actually talk to everyone I know about this, but most people I know were pulling for England. But I think that's because a lot of people just pull for the underdog. And Argentina and France were there last time, so a lot of people wanted to see different teams make it. Now, I am very uneducated when it comes to soccer. Played soccer for a long time as a kid, but that was when I was a kid, and things obviously are very different when you get to the professional level. But based on what I saw, I just think Spain is far and above better than anyone else I've seen in this tournament. Enjoy your food, Emil. It has been good, Stephen. I have really enjoyed the World Cup. I haven't quite figured out if I'm gonna like transition to watching anything once the World Cup's over. Because this is typically my what happens is I'll really enjoy the World Cup and then I don't get plugged into anything else. But it's been really fun. What's up, Cole? Yeah, you would have enjoyed all the code talk, the AI vibe coding talk. I guess there will be a VOD. I'm sure you have things to offer though. Really just wanted the U.S. to win the World Cup and then tell the world that it's called soccer. Too early to make me get into debate about AI vibe coders. Oh, I will not try to make you. Speaking of football, still, new Champions League season is starting in a week or two, and my team is participating. What does that mean, Casavir? The new Champions League. Like, what country is that in? I didn't even realize till yesterday that Messi played a lot of his professional career in Spain. I kind of forget that like all of the major soccer playing countries have their own like top tier professional league, right? Oh, that's a tournament in Europe. Interesting. You can't seem to get into soccer. You need friends who are into it. Oh, is that right? You love Spain and Argentina. Well, Argentina won it last time, right? In fact, Argentina have won like 3 major championships in a row, so I feel like it's probably okay if Spain wins this one, right? When Argentina decided to throw in all of the additional offensive players, now I know some of it is because of the way that like England was turtling up and they put a bunch of defensive players in. But when Argentina put all of their offensive players in, like that was kind of scary. It felt like there was so much momentum, even though they were down 1-0. It was just like, oh, it's just a matter of time. They are just getting opportunity after opportunity, and they don't miss many opportunities. All right, let me look it up, Casimir. I'm curious who's in that. Spain is good. I'm realistic, but I want for Leo last. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand that. I have zero emotional attachment to Messi. So, like, but I get that for many people, Messi is maybe the best of all time or whatever. So, I get that. I I just want to see Spain win, but I don't care that much. People in America trying to talk to Messi, but I don't does. Well, that is a good point. I've not heard Messi speak English very much at all, right? I'm not sure that he may just choose not to, or maybe he doesn't know English very well. I don't know. Messi is huge. Oh yeah, for sure. Personally, I think Premier League is best in the world. That's I think Ronaldo is best, but Messi played in league that was easy at the time. Yeah, I don't know about any. Okay, so you're saying Champions League starting soon. Which teams are in it? When does like Premier League stuff start? Is that a different time of the year? All right, so Arsenal, Aston Villa, if I'm saying that right, Liverpool, old Patty will be excited, Man City. All right, so those are like the big. That actually seems kind of cool. Spain, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Germany's got Dortmund, Italy's got Roma and others, France has got 3, Netherlands has got a couple, Portugal's got a couple, Porto, Belgium's got 1, Turkey's got 1. Why? When did Turkey become Turkey? Yay! I mean, I know when they became that, like that's what maybe they call themselves. I don't know, but when did the English-speaking world decide to start calling them Turkey? Yay! Ukraine and Czechia. The final lineup of all 36 teams. I wonder how to watch this. League schedule and how to watch. What did we just catch? This is a tiny fish. See, if I had my raptor, I could do 2 things at once. I knew it would be a whiting. I just didn't want to say it out loud. How to watch. Watch every game of the 26-27 UEFA Champions League live in the US on Paramount Plus, which streams all matches. Select games will also be on CBS. And September 8th. Okay, so is Premier League going on at the same time as this? Because I see that these matches are just like, they're not every week. I mean, they're kind of ever so often when they feel like getting together or whatever. And the playoffs don't start till February. So is this every year? Do they do this every year? So confused. I need to find an article on the teaching me the basics of all of this. The Premier League is the UK league. Should also be in a few weeks. Like 25 biggest teams and lucky good qualifiers. Messi understands English. He even said he could speak it, just uncomfortable speaking English, and that's totally fine. He has no responsibility to speak English. What's up, Todd? It has been a while. Welcome back. I think by math, it was more people watch Champions League than NBA. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, do that many people watch the NBA? The NBA doesn't compare to college football or NFL, right? Messi and Ronaldo cannot be compared. Ronaldo is a scorer. Messi is a great talent. On weekends. Okay, those are weekends. They just have a break during the World Cup. And Champions League is on weekdays. What's up, Moy? So it is going on at the same time. Being an American, the older I get, the more I realize how horrible English is. I get why other countries don't like learning it. It's so interesting to think about how different of an experience people have growing up somewhere where you are learning more than one language, even as a child. Like, I just don't have categories for that, what that would be like growing up in the US. Depends on teams. Those who play qualifiers start earlier than those who qualified. Yo, what's up, Grumpy? Okay, so the Premier League is going on. Like, I could look up Premier League schedule and it would overlap with what we were just looking at. Oh, that's another COD. I'm almost over this. Almost ready to go back to 34, but we'll try to persevere a little longer. When does Premier League start and how to watch? Kicks off on Friday, August 21st. So the first Champions League is in September. So it looks like about 3 weeks after the Premier League starts. And you can watch all games across NBA, USA Network, Peacock. Oh, man. So that's interesting. NBC has Premier, but Paramount Plus has Champions League. So what's more fun to watch, Champions League or Premier? Premier is just UK teams, right? The Champions League, you're getting like international flavor. I guess that's kind of a silly question to ask that then. I barely passed French in high school, don't remember any of it now. Yeah, I did Spanish in high school and college and know very little. Where I grew up, English was second language technically, but just a lot of countries, it's native plus English at the same time. Totally. Yeah, I actually think for better or for worse, like many countries now, English is sort of the secondary language. Qualifiers starting this Tuesday. African countries in the future will be big problem in football. Europeans have learned football and step by step it will become somewhat strong. Interesting, interesting. Champion League is better. I like Premier, but that's just because I always played Manchester City and FIFA. There you go, Steven. Because I love random Slavia, Prague drawing Arsenal or somebody beating Madrid. Who's that, Dan? Who almost got regulated? Tottenham. Hotspur. Matches and last two fixtures were so fishy you could smell them. France got what they deserved. They became arrogant and too full of it, and usually when that happens, you beat yourself. Most wanted, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Hello to you as well. Yeah, it seemed like France just had an off day to me. I mean, I do think they ran into a really good team in Spain, but wait, did they play Spain? I'm already getting confused. Yeah, Spain. But I mean, France had looked really good. Although that Norway match, that doesn't really count. Norway set like 10 of their players, didn't they? France handled Iraq. They handled Sweden. Paraguay 1-0. Morocco 2-0. That was an impressive win. But they just had an off day against Spain. Plus, Spain looks just really legit to me. What's up, Spirit? Norway, I mean, I think Norway would be good, except I'm trying to catch big fish at 55, which means it's slower than I want it to be. But I'll probably head back to 34 soon, and I suspect it will be good. How about you? Best of luck to you, Grumpy. Most Wanted says fishing copper at the moment, moving for sturgeons later. Oh, nice. Yeah, it looked like copper F1s are pretty good. What are they on, squid or something like that? Oh. Spain made them bad? Yeah, that might be true. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe it was all Spain. I don't know. But France definitely did not look like they looked earlier. Squid red. Yeah. It looks like they're pretty good. I mean, high percentage of F1s right now, right? You've been slow today and you're at that stage of 1.9 million to level 50. Wow. Congrats. That's amazing. That's big time. Happening here. How many Bluetooth do you have? Oh, you're asking Spirit? Blue trophies. 22 Bluetooths. Dang. That's crazy. A European hake. I don't know if I want to go to the trouble of rookie numbers. Yeah, for real. Why are y'all picking on me? All right, what are y'all saying? I have how many blue trophies? I have 11. Are y'all just catching, are y'all just counting individual fish? You're probably counting individual fish, aren't you? Well, that's no fun. Oh! Overall, okay. I mean, I don't know. What's that an indication of? I mean, there are definitely fish you can go after that are much more likely to give you rare trophies, right? Or blue trophies. I mean, if people really enjoy, the like the Ladoga Gibble spot when that pops up or whatever, like Roach at Sura sometimes. I mean, there's just places where you're more likely to get blues, right? But if you're almost level 50, you've been fishing a lot, so you've probably just gotten the random blues spread across. Yeah, bleak. What is going on here? Oh, it's another cod. "35 minutes. I mean, it's not that bad, honestly. The bite rate's not been terrible if it gives us a chance to see something different, but second best perking setup in the Fisher Online. 15,000 silver for. I didn't even know that Fisher Online Cassavir had equipment that was that cost that much. I wonder if that's stuff that's been added since I last played. Do you feel like Fisher Online's in a healthy spot? Last time I tried to like just jump in there quietly and play a little bit, it was after all of the hook and line reworks. And honestly, nothing seemed like it worked anymore, or at least not like it used to. It just was very confusing to me. You already have one setup of that? Wow. I was trying to do carp fishing, I think, and just the lines and hooks had changed. And it seemed like everything was much slower, but I may not have figured out the right combination. Kelly and I have been playing Enshrouded for the last few days. The fishing in that game is awful, but the game overall is really good, right? I have no idea, sir. Think release it did a lot of silly mistakes. So is it better now is what I'm asking, Casimir. It just felt like back then it was in a really weird spot. Do you think it's improved? You love it, Cole? That's awesome. We managed to kill bite rate in process. Okay. So it wasn't just me. There was a dark time in Fish Your Own Line. Yeah, if you want to catch a few cod, they're here. Oh, they are here. No one in the world has ever set out to catch cod. Wait, what, Cassavir? You're not fishing? You log in daily to make 10 packs of fish pieces and sell them to merchants for profit? You're just playing the auction house? I mean, you're just like playing the economy a little bit? That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, this feels like another cod. Cod it out. Well, I guess you never know, though. You never know till you see it. You're limited to 10 trades per day. I think I'm not supposed to do that. Doesn't that hurt the rod more if I lift it up a lot? Or something like that. $5K silver a day and 2 clicks, 0 fishing. Interesting. Cole says no. Well, I wish I knew. I guess you can fairly assume that that's the pressure that's being placed on the rod, because it's going to show you the pressure of whatever your lowest thing is, right? This is like the most. This is in that size range where I have to keep it locked up or it'll scrape line out. And it's not like so heavy or strong that I'm struggling, but it's just enough that it's like pretty annoying to try to reel it in. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about, Cole. It'd be cool if you could have a more like complicated. You know how in Fishing Planet you can select the complicated whatever and it actually shows you the pressure that you're putting on all of the components of the rig at the same time? That would be kind of interesting. But yeah, if you have it set up correctly, then typically it's going to be the hook. Oh, it's just another annoying cod, y'all. Going to be the hook or the leader, unless you have it set up kind of wonky. Now that's, again, decent XP, decent silver, but it's just a lot of cod in my life right now. Holy cow, I didn't do shift, click, whatever. Come back to me. I guess I did. That throw invaded Finland. That's funny, Casimir. That's funny. All right, so we've been fishing for like 50 minutes, I think, because we started happy hour out on the dock when I did the silly dig with the shovel. So it's actually been 45 minutes since we caught the first fish. But I still think it's probably a good time. I mean, I want to, you know, we'll see a couple more fish here, but I think we should move to 34 soon and try out some of that stuff. Oh, is that right, Cole? Hmm. Interesting. Look at the Icelandic scallop. Wait, is that not even a marker one? Oh, that's so sad. But can't I turn that into something? Yeah. Yeah, they are good XP if they're a marker size, I think. I mean, that one was like 2000 XP and it wasn't even marker size, right? So, um, So does it, here's the other question, like, is it better to cast it? Oh, you have to cast it. Okay, never mind. There's not an option. I was trying to think about, like, does it do damage to the reel, a little bit of damage to the reel or the line or something every time you cast it, which I think it does, but does the distance you cast it matter? Also, what I was going to say is, can you just open your bail and let it drop? But I don't think the game lets you do that. Oh, you've never seen a blue trophy scallop? What size scallop is blue trophy? What's the best what's the best rig to fish with the scallop piece? Since we caught a scallop here, we ought to just like rig up something real quick and try to catch a fish on scallop. Yo, thank you, MDawg, for the sub. Appreciate that. Welcome back. If we knew that, we could target them. Oh, I don't mean fish for scallop. I mean fish with scallop. Like I just turned that scallop into bait. You know what I mean? So like, what's the best setup to turn this into to like actually fish with that scallop meat? A 486 gram scallop on the Lurker 200. That's impressive. Someone's fishing with the Lurker 200, first of all. There's a MDawg, a MDawg. Is there a dog A alphabet? Yes. Yes, Grumpy, there is. Bottom rig with a rattling weight, Big Cheese says. Okay, let's try it. We'll see what this fish is, and then let's try it. Ooh. Our first wolf fish. All right. Bottom rig with rattling weight. It doesn't have to be super heavy because we're not trying to get it to go super far, but whatever. Double hook. We'll go 8-0 because we actually want to catch something. And we'll put scallop meat on there. And I guess there's a chance we could catch something big, so we'll put a big leader on just in case. Let's just do like green and... Is that weird? Here we go. Here we go. I know y'all are on the edge of your seats to find out what we're gonna catch on a bottom rig with rattling weight, movement in the bottom layer, double scallop, 8-0 hooks. Let's go. I don't think we move this, right? We just let it sit. Yo, Tenacious, nice mirror carp. Just let it sit with moving in the bottom layer. Yeah. A great white shark. The fish got away, chat. Does that mean it took my scallop meat? I don't have that much scallop meat, so we can't be having fish getting away. Although that fish was pretty impressively small. Have I caught a big shark? Probably not as big as what you're talking about. This setup is good for catching rares in 215. Wait, where's 215? Like this 215 that's just to the right of me? I'll try it. We'll go cast it in there once, see what happens. What's going on here? Oh, Bames John, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I can't get it to stay in the bottom layer without, like, slightly moving it. What about the hook size I'm using, Big Cheese? I've got 8.0 hooks. Is that okay? You use 6.0? Okay. I'll go down when we move. Yes, thank you, Bames John. Remember on your stream that you went to a player's house and they had so much stuff and a massive shark. I don't remember what my biggest shark is, but I don't think it's that big. What fish will it be? I agree. I mean, I don't know, but I agree. It's a good question. Oh, it's an Atlantic wolffish. Scallop with Nearest and lugworm works well. All right, well, let's do 8.0 with the scallop, and then we'll switch to that, and we'll go 6.0 with the more common baits. That makes sense. But we got back-to-back wolffish in the 55. That's pretty cool. Steven, I would say like the other types of fishing. My guess is that it would be starts at level 1 and you level it up just like the other types. But I've never thought of that idea. That is an interesting idea of not even letting you touch fly fishing until you're a certain level. That's interesting. I don't think that would be a terrible decision. But I don't think you want to wait too long because you might bring some people to the game if they hear that they, did fly fishing really well. Oh, I should have put the heavier weight. That's the other thing I need to remember is we might as well put the heavier weight on there now that we're fishing at 215. Although this thing drops so fast. It's nice. All right, I gotta take a break in just a second. Let me try to catch this fish. Just because we can fly fish at the current maps, I feel like those would need new maps. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess they could introduce a new map for fly fishing. Um, I feel like they've tried to do that in the past, and then every time the map comes out, fly fishing wasn't quite ready. So I think they already have the maps in the game that they intended you to fly fish at. You just can't fly fish yet. So, but it would be interesting if they did like introduce a new map. That's one way they could do it. They could let you do, some fly fishing could work anywhere, obviously, but you could have a real specialized higher level map where, they introduce some really cool like trout spots or whatever and tailor it for higher level somehow. I don't know. It'd be cool. Sounds good, Grumpy. What's up, Wrangler? Wait, is that how big the fish is, or have I just not caught up to it? Okay, that's a good sign because, like you said, we want it to be Esmark or a long gear eel pout because those are the rare ones. This is tiny. This might be a scallop. This might be a bubble. Like we call it a bubble. All right, let me make the changes to the rig. They're 300 to 1,000 gram. Okay. Let me make the changes. Well, let's see what this is. I'll definitely change the weight on the rig. What do you think, Big Cheese? Do you think I mean, like I've got 180 size leaders. Do you think that matters? Like, would you go smaller leaders in this situation? Or is there a danger of like really big fish down here at 215? Doesn't matter? Okay. Do you remember what species, Wrangler? I just don't remember ever catching something very big at like this deep. But I could be wrong. Yo, that is so funny. Halibuts and cod at 215, really? Okay. All right, let's put 1,000 gram weight on this sucker. Okay. That was intense. Let's turn that into a dead mackerel, because you never know, we might need to fish with that too. All right, let me take a quick break. I'm gonna keep scallop on a little longer, and then we'll rotate to the worms a little bit as well, but I'll be right back. Whew. Sorry. All right, I'm back. We got a new pool vacuum. And I was trying to get it unboxed so I could start charging it in case I wanted to experiment with it later. Needs to be fully charged. Wrangler said, how's RF4 going? I mean, I've enjoyed RF4 recently. Doing a leveling series, and I've mostly done sea fishing, although I think copper's pretty good right now. Everybody's kind of waiting on news of the next map, I feel like, Wrangler. There's been a lot of rumor. It definitely feels like something's coming, but no official news so far. At least not recent. That's the boat you're in? I meant to bring the instruction booklet with me so I could look at it real quick, but... Yeah, that's right, Steven. That is exactly what we got. Just Not Unlucky says the game is still fun, still the best fishing game, but it's getting very hard to want to keep playing when there hasn't been anything new. Yeah, I think that's a good take. I get that. Turn my fan on real quick. I mean, can you imagine what it would take for this game not to be the best fishing? It's like there's so much development that's gone into this game. There's so much content, so much variety. Even if a game came out that got the basics of fishing as well, you know, competed with this, which we've just never seen that. Even if that happened, oh, the amount of catch up of just trying to like compete would be insane. Any tips on making silver? I've been at the sea for 35 hours. Wait, you're already fishing at the sea? First of all, if you're saving for sea gear, I do think copper is more consistent these days, but you just want to, I mean, I guess it depends on what level, like how far marine fishing are you? You don't have drop shots. If you don't have some of the advanced rigs, then it is going to be a little slower maybe. Yeah, I agree. Just Not Unlucky. Oh, so you're at 94%. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. If the Norwegian Sea is boring to you, then I would fish somewhere else. I mean, I don't know. I would not describe the Norwegian Sea as boring, but that's just me. Everybody's different. Yeah, there's so much content in this game, Steven. If you're just like really into fishing games. If I was trying to make silver, I would go to copper. If I really wanted to make silver at Norway, I guess I would do the 34 bank, and I'd probably rotate between, maybe 41 some, but I'd rotate between like small fish setup and then like a regular Pure King rig setup. So like basically I have two setups that I was going to use today, but one of them has shrimp on it for the small stuff. I think right now Those like needle looking fish are pretty active. And then the other setup I would have is like kind of like what we used yesterday, something that you'll catch just a variety of fish at 34. And that'll be like really good silver, although I still don't know if it's as consistent at copper. For me, I'd probably rotate back and forth. But you don't go for big fish at Norway if you're trying to make silver. Oh yeah, loadouts would be amazing, Steven. I definitely agree with that. What's up, failed Q? Quest, make a small chance of getting that would be nice. Some sort of questing system different in the cafes, Carp. Yeah, what's up, Forca? That's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Oh, small chance of getting gold. Interesting. So, Carp, why do you want to get gold as a reward? Look at the moon. Doesn't that look cool? Yo, what's up, Southie? 30 gold baits. Yo, Melons, thanks so much. Appreciate that. Greetings to you. What's up, Musaka? Oh, if I missed it, most wanted, thanks for the follow. I know it probably won't happen, but multiplayer would be huge for this game. Being able to run around and see what your buddies are catching while you're waiting for a bite would help a lot. Sitting there looking at your rods get stale. Only thing I dislike at the moment, I was quite excited to unlock copper, and I bought all the gear for it, spending hours and hours only for me to be completely dead without PVA. Yeah, PVA seems like it's often pretty important for copper. If I redeem the coffee, how many portions is that going to be? I think I usually do 20 portions of coffee. Yep. I don't know, is that more or less predatory? It's like, there are a lot of games, a lot of free-to-play games do that, right? Where it's like, they have a currency in the game that is supposed to be real money only. Not real money only, but real money. That's the primary way you get it. But then they'll have like a battle pass or something that you can buy, or and then it will give you a little bit of that currency back as you play the game. And so over time, it feels like you're earning the real money currency, although the only reason why they do that is because they know that more people is still going to buy more of the currency with real money, and somehow giving them a little bit of it actually makes them more likely to buy it or something. I don't know. I think it gets a kind of murky, at least for me, if they started like sprinkling little gold rewards, but then that just gives people a taste of it. I don't know. Yeah, now I could see that, Carp. If there's certain things that are typically gold only, but you're able to maybe have a weekly quest that gives you, maybe it rotates through the different ones and it gives you a reward of them. That could be cool. Yeah, I don't know. Bottom skill's not moving at all, stuck at 83.6. So, Forka, do you have the... First of all, do you ever do premium? I do think when you're at that percentage, whether it's fortunate or unfortunate, premium does make a difference. And then the other thing is... do you have royals? Are you going to be able to do PVA at 90%? It might be worth, if you're doing a lot of copper fishing, you don't do premium? Okay. It might be worth at least having one royal so that you can do PVA early on one rod at least. Alright, so we've gotten redfish a couple times in a row. Man, it just takes forever to reel them up. It's a downside. Oh, this is, you know what, chat? This is why we have a raptor. What am I even doing? I mean, this is the reason why we bought the raptor. Alright, let me see here. There's the name. Jeurissii. Level 25. Whew. I don't have royals at the moment, but at this rate, I might have enough to buy royals soon. Yeah, and I don't even know if you need to get more than one royal, because I think you can, you know, if you do a combination of, you know, ground bait. Nah, you probably wouldn't do ground bait. Do a combination of spot and PVA. As long as you have PVA on that one rod and you're spotting, you know, every 18 hours or so, I think you'd have the same result. It's just nice having PVA in on one rod. That's what gives me hope for some sort of multiplayer. As they add different outfits to wear, the point of buying those is to show to other people. So true, Steven. I think that becomes a lot more of a significant revenue source for them if they also end up adding some way to see, even if it's just like a small group of players in a group together or something, it could still be like somewhat lucrative for them if it's only you seeing it. But it's a first-person game, so like you would only see it on your arms or if you look down or in a reflection, so it's just not ideal unless you can either go into third person occasionally, maybe when you're like in certain situations. But if they didn't program it to be like that, I don't know if that's in the cards or not. Or like you said, if you can't see other people. I use Method Feeder as a PVA alternative. Yeah, I think if now I haven't done it consistently, so I may not know what it's like, but if I didn't have PVA unlocked at Copper, I would definitely still do Spod and or Method, combination of both. Especially on those little F1 spots. Yeah, that would be great, Forka. If you could get a 7-day premium, you'd probably see more growth during that time than normal. Oh, Spot is so good at copper, Forka. Especially on F1 spots. You haven't tried Spot. I don't know that it's as good as PVA, but I think it's close. And some people do have really good success with Method. To me, Method is not as consistent as Spot, but it's worth trying. Bossy says option to have different color rods or reel. Yeah, different skins. That's another good option. Oh yeah, third person for trolling would be great. That would be interesting if you had third person like for certain occasions, like when you're in a boat or when you're in town away from the water. I don't know. Skins would be so nice. Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I'm just surprised that they have not been more aggressive with skins. In some ways, maybe it's a good thing, but as long as it's obviously it's optional, so I'm just surprised. But oh no, Spot is not like manually throwing ground bait to me. Spot is like using PVA or close to it, especially at copper, in my opinion. Now amber, I don't know. I think Spot at amber might not be quite as good. I mean, the problem is so many spots at amber are like 30 meters out, and I don't know, it's just different. Female avatar would be nice, yeah, for sure. It's not bad. They really method feeder since I unlock it. I'm 95.3. Yeah, for sure, Carp. All right, American Place. Which bait was that? I'm wondering. Nearest, scallop. So Nearest has caught 2 fish in a row. If lugworm doesn't get in the fight, I might switch lugworm back to scallop. Yeah, it's actually surprising that when you create a new account, you don't get to choose between male and female. Milne says, what are you hoping to catch at this hole? I mean, I guess something rare. I don't really have a specific hope. I just was trying to do something a little different, just to mix it up. You're going to keep using method feeder until you get PVA? Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, again, if it was me, I would do spod, but I like trying method as well. I just think for me, spod has been really good. But I know it's probably different for different people, different spots, and also just kind of a preference thing. That's true, Steven. Maybe we are all female avatars. Oh. Yeah, Forka, if I had to start a new account, like I didn't have a choice, I had to, and I kept playing it and leveling it, I would be so excited the day that I unlock Spod. I would be so excited. I would immediately go use Spod. I would fish for bream, carp. I would do Spod on all kinds of different spots. I would be so excited. Y'all remember some of the spots that I think it was a Russian player that we saw that one time, and then we all tried it and it was so good, that like showed how active bream can be if you use spod. instead of like ground bait or PVA. And it was like 100 bream a night or something. I mean, it was something crazy. Seems like sometimes it works best on like bream, but also carp when it's not a long clip. I don't know if I'm right about that. It just feels like if you're going to a 30, 35 meter clip or something, it's a little difficult to spot and then always fish right in that spot. But if you're clipped 12 meters and you're just spotting and those F1s are going crazy, it just seems like it's really good. And remember, and I don't know exactly how this works, Forca, but I think you can actually turn any carp rod into a spod rod. Isn't that right? You haven't had that luck on Oldberg? You know, Drew, it might have just been that one time. I mean, it might have been like, not that it was just one time, but it might just be sometimes. I'm not sure that it's every time. We did that bream comp. We were catching, I think we did like a total weight comp for bream. And the rest of us got like, you know, whatever it was. Let's just say the rest of us got 100 kilos of bream. And then this one Russian player was like 300 kilos of bream. And somebody got to talking to him and we found out they were spotting it. And they had like a particular recipe. And so then we tried it the next night and our volume went up significantly. So I did end up leveling your bait crafting is key. Absolutely. So we're definitely catching the redfish here, by the way. Let's see which, was that on Nearest again? Yeah, Nearest is just outperforming lugworm right now. So I bought the Percy Spod. Express Fishing Percy Spod. I think it was just the cheap one. But I want to say that you can take any carp rod wait, where is it? Am I wrong? Yeah, and turn it into a spod rod. So if you have an old carp rod that you're not using, now the downside is you can't have a fourth carp rod out, where you can have a spod rod out at the same time as your other 3 carp rods. So that's still the advantage of actually having one, but that's not that big a deal. You just, you know, put 2, or you spot it first and then you put all 3 of your carp rods in, or, you know, when you want to spot it again, you just wait till you catch a fish and then keep that carp rod out, pull out your spod carp rod. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But just keep that in mind. If you want to try it before you spin the silver on a specifically rod made for spod, you can do it that way. Yeah, if you're actually using the spod rod, then it doesn't count as one of your 3 rods. Same with the marker rod, right? You can have a marker rod out as well, and it doesn't count as one of your 3 rods. Yeah, no, Drew's right. If you don't prioritize leveling up your on your crafting baits, then you can, like, obviously make it really far and then get into a certain type of fishing that you haven't been into before, and suddenly, you know, you're back at square one needing to level something up that is blocking you from using lots of different baits. Oh yeah, ground bait without premium. Yeah, I've done that on a leveling account. It is painful. I agree. But it's something you just have to do once, so. That stinks. The timing of that stinks. but it was totally worth it. Yeah, I'm glad that we've been in a uptick for amber these last few months. There was a while there where it had kind of cycled down a little bit. Probably people just weren't checking the right spots or whatever, but it just felt like it was. But it seems like in the last few months, amber's been pretty good again. 28 bait harvesting ground baits. Kind of hit that wall. Yeah, for sure, Drew. Oh, that's awesome, Bossy. Which char? Which map for char? Is this let's see, Archie or Ladoga, I'm guessing? Archie, okay. Red, normal, and gray. Yeah, that's fun. When all of them are pretty active at the same time, that is fun. What percentage should you repair Regal with a Sensi? I don't know. For me, if you're noticing, it's such a cheap repair compared to how much silver you're making. If you're noticing that it's impacting your fishing, I would do it. 27-meter hole pilking at bottom. Nasty worm 4.5008. Nice, Bossy. You ever done the reset skill points? Yo, what level are you, Drew? I have definitely used mine. If you're asking if I've used mine. But I definitely think it's really... It's good to wait. Yeah, 28. You have so many in float fishing? I mean, do you know, do you know... Do you know how it works? If once you use it, it's gone, obviously. And then it costs... So like if I wanted to reset my bottom fishing points, so like free up all these points, it would cost me 5 gold. So it's 5 gold per category. And as far as I know, that doesn't ever go on sale. Now, we have had skill resets every once in a while in the history of the game, but it feels like the longer we go, the less likely that is. However, if they add a whole new type of fishing into the game, such as like, for example, let's say they added fly fishing, you wonder if there's at least a chance that they might reset the skills. Now, they might not, again, because it feels like the longer the game goes on, the less likely they are to do that, but I've probably had my skills reset like, I don't know, 6 times or something like that in the years that I've been playing it. My most favorite map is Copper and Norway. Probably Amber's not too far behind. Least favorite map? I don't know. This is really slowing down, by the way. See if we can catch one more fish, and then I might go fish at 34 just for a few minutes before we wrap it up. Least favorite map. Well, we did do a tier rating of the maps. That video is out there. So I guess I've already put my opinion out there. I don't remember what ended up coming in last place, though. Probably easier to say the maps that I spend the least amount of time at. And at this point, at least at this point, that's Yama and Sura. Probably. Although Seversky as well. These three, Yama, Sura, and Seversky. By the way, if drifting hadn't gotten nerfed so much, drifting was really fun to me, but a little harder to justify these days. It's not as fun. It's okay, but... Those are just the maps I spend the less time on. I mean, in theory, I think Yama is a really cool map. I mean, if they do ever come out with fly fishing, you know that Yama is going to be amazing as one of the spots, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Belaya exists, especially for the leveling process. I don't spend a lot of time there either. You know, elk is a lot of fun. I have been reminded of that with this leveling series. Uh, is having full points on spin fishing? No, Forka. None of the points are a must. I will say that the points that feel like the most important to me, especially early on, are the points in like ground bait and harvesting baits, because those have such a tangible impact. But having some points in like spinning reel, I mean, there is an argument for, especially for players who are leveling up, you need to be able to cast a certain distance to hit some holes or to some hot spots in Balaya and other places. Doesn't matter with trolling, but with casting from the shore, that does become an issue. But points are just like, I mean, just imagine, other than the tangible things like letting you cast more accurate and farther distance, or letting you craft a higher quality of ground bait, or letting you succeed in digging up worms more often and hitting the rare digs more often, or whatever. Other than that, just think of points as like moving that random number generator slightly in your favor, which means that it doesn't matter that much, you know? It's cool. I'm so glad that we have skill points and making choices like that, but I really wouldn't sweat it. I've been at Amber for an hour 30 using current meta setup that target trophy carps, but all I caught is 1 kilo tench. Interesting. Bear dropped a lot since Amber, Oldberg, and Copper is now available. I just think they all come and go. I mean, with the exception of Copper and Norway just being the most, I guess, recent maps, they were designed maybe in a slightly different way. I feel like they're just definitely stronger. But other than that, I feel like all the other maps just kind of, you know, have ups and downs, and they change from season to season. There's times that tons of people are fishing at Bear. And it's cool that they integrate. I mean, they introduced the new rares there, but Bear's always been, I feel like since the beginning, Bear has been one that's very impacted by weather and out fishing a spot. So you definitely have to like fish a little different at Bear, I feel like, but I just think the map has ups and downs. Waiting for it not to be fly fishing at all, and they add harpoon fishing. I don't see that coming. If for no other reason, because the way fish spawning happens in this game wouldn't really work with that, right? But I know you're just you're half kidding, but yeah, there's no guarantee that they're ever going to add fly fishing. It just depends on if they get it to a point where they think it's fun and worthwhile having in the game. Maps that are spin fishing focused are your least favorite? So what counts as that, Wrangler? What are you thinking of? Do you include trolling on that? I mean, I really like Archie and Lower Tunguska, and I would argue that in a lot of ways those are spin fishing primarily, but they also have a lot of trolling options, which is fun. Or ultralight options on Lower Tunguska, which is fun. I loved Bear, but like you said, it seems to be great, or Brutal seems like it doesn't get love. Good way to have multiple points in two groups like spinning reels is on spinning and bottom. Yeah, I mean, I think I always do that in my leveling guides. I think for lower level players, putting points in spinning reel is a no-brainer, because early on at least, you're going to be using a spinning reel the majority of the time you're playing the game, unless you go mostly float or something. Yo, Snippo, thanks for the follow. I really appreciate that. I almost never use harvesting bait. I did upgrade ground bait. Yeah, well, it just depends on if you're... early on, it is so nice to have so many red worms and worms, and if it's just a good way to propel you through the early levels of leveling up your harvesting baits. And then later, if you want to do like sturgeon fishing and that kind of stuff, it's just really important to have harvesting baits at 100%, because unless you just want to drop a lot of real money, it's the way to get the baits that sturgeon and other nice fish to target through those, cycle through those baits. Two things: people were taking a really long time to hit big, and I haven't seen trophies as much the last couple days, so it might have cooled down. That is definitely, amber trophy hunting is definitely a particular time of fishing too. Like I always enjoy, every once in a while that's okay if I'm AFK fishing, but I always enjoy the spots at amber that are where you're more like volume fishing, and maybe occasionally a trophy comes, but if it's like all about waiting for 3 fish an hour and hoping one of them's a trophy, it's not super fun to me, unless I'm AFK fishing. And on marine, I have 3 points in it, but I was thinking it needs 5. Been following for years on YouTube. Didn't know you were a streamer too. Oh, thank you, Snippo. I appreciate the support. Yeah, I don't get to stream all the time, but every once in a while, we'll throw down a stream. I was actually thinking about, do I want to do this or not? Oh, I hate to say this out loud, because y'all probably don't care. It's not like somebody's going to get excited about this and hold me to it or something. But I've been doing this WoW series, and I'm having so much fun, guys. I'm reading every quest through the campaign quest. Currently, the character in the series is on the Dragon Isle expansion. And, it has been so fun. It has renewed my enjoyment of playing World of Warcraft so much. Because what was fun for me in the past in that game was just getting to, just leveling up and getting to max level, and then like running dungeons and stuff with friends or whatever. But what's fun for me now is trying to understand the story of what's been going on all these years. And so I have started, Atlantic Sorry, that was the type of fish I was trying to think of earlier. I've started doing this series where I'm just literally reading every quest and talking about the lore as I play through. We started a brand new character, and we're up to like level, 50 or something? And we're in the Dragon Isles expansion, and it has been so much fun. Anyway, I'm saying all that to say that I was going to work on some WoW videos this afternoon anyway. And so I've been toying with the idea of just, do I stream all that, and then I can still turn those sections of the stream into YouTube videos to continue the series. The downside of that is, it's probably a boring stream to watch, and many people don't have interest in WoW, and that's fine. I'm not saying people would stay around for it, but the other downside is it's kind of out of order. Like, if people have been watching the series, which at least a few people have, then all of a sudden this content's going to be, because some of those videos haven't even released yet. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. But yeah, I don't get to stream that often, but when I do, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy having the community feedback of sitting here fishing and talking to people about stuff. Obviously, I make a lot of videos on YouTube as well, but I do really enjoy the feedback of people hanging out. Look at this. We've been fishing for 2 hours and we only have this many fish. But it's been some okay fish, so it's not like the end of the world. Bossy says, rods and reels always go max lures and type of fishing methods. So many factors like leaders, types of baits, etc. With equipment, never. Yeah, I agree, Fork. I think if you're looking for silver and also fun, leveling up things, volume fishing is the way to go on Amber whenever possible. All right, so far we've gotten a non-marker sorry, whiting, and mackerel. 7.5, lurker, 7.5. I'm doing the same at ESO. Oh, that's awesome, Cassavir. Oh, thank you, Cassavir, for staying silent for spoiler. I didn't even think about that possibility. I don't know if spoiler would be that big a deal to me, because it's more like trying to understand some of the nuance. I probably know at least some of the big story points from over the years, but what I don't know is like the flavor of it. You know what I mean? My 20-year of WoW database is tough to stay silent. Yeah, I bet. Thanks, Cassavir. I don't know what you're using, but I suggest use natural shrimp blue, yellow, green. Oh, is that right? Natural shrimp blue, yellow, green. I'll show you what I'm using. All right, at least that is a marker. I'm using pink, green, green. Although the pink is not natural shrimp, it's pink shrimp. It's real shrimp is what I meant to say. But blue, yellow, green. I could try a different one though. Snippo says, I love your From the Beginning series. I just came back to R4, currently level 22 with only one Fortuna carp caliber. Trying to understand the next setup to buy a Fortuna or feeder rod for copper. You're level 22. What is copper again? Always forget. 29. I mean, I guess in some ways it's never too soon to at least have in mind of what you're like going to be saving for, or what the path is to having gear for copper. I do think copper is that good that it's worth prioritizing having a plan. It is tough because you're still a little ways away, and I love those Fortuna Carp caliber HSV setups for everything other than copper. It's still such a good value, especially if you upgrade the HSVs. But so yeah, that's the thing about this game these days, is there's so many different directions you can go. You can kind of do it all, but then you also run the risk of like spending silver on all the little things that distract you along the way, and then it just takes a lot longer to save for the bigger purchases that you might need to do something you want to do. So it's good to have a plan, especially as you get into your 20s, start looking around, thinking about what you want to do. You can answer 95% up, but I'm not 100% lore freak. I watch lore videos. Yeah. I have, as a part of this series I'm doing, I've been watching this lore series, this lore video, and it's actually been very helpful. Probably should be saving for a mix of copper and amber since copper is inactive. I don't think copper's inactive. Right now people are making 900 plus silver an hour on F1s. I mean, copper's almost never inactive. Even if the temperature's off, it's still crazy. So don't ever, I would never like put copper plans on hold, because I've never seen a consistent time where there hasn't been good fishing to be had at copper. Yeah, and you can't use anything over 6,000 reel at copper. That's right. You also can't use carp rods. So you're talking about probably a feeder rod and a 6,000 reel, but you can go really budget cheap, and not really budget cheap. I wouldn't go too low, but you can go pretty cheap and then make a ton of silver off of F1s and save up for a nicer setup if you want. I don't know about without PVA. I think SPOD would work really well too. I haven't tested it like today or anything, so I can't say that for sure. But typically that's the case. I'll probably end up buying another Fortuna Carp and HSV setup and go to Amber at 26. Yeah, that's fun. I mean, I think the fun thing is, for me at least, carp fishing is just so fun. So whatever allows you to, if it's fun for you, whatever allows you to get fishing for carp is probably worth doing. And it's just hard to fish for carp if you don't have 3 setups. You know, you can just kind of feel when you're doing it that it's intended for 3 setups. So I think the harder question, and like what I would struggle with if I was leveling up a brand new account and that's what I had to play, the only account I could play. The harder question is, do you go the caliber HSV route, or do you get something that could work at copper and that also could like squeak by at amber? According to how you target the carp, you could kind of target carp at amber, trying to avoid the monsters in some ways. Because then you could kind of get decent setups that would work at both places and then immediately save for your big carp setups once you're fishing at copper. I don't know. I think, at least for me, I would be thinking that way, but that's just because I just know, for me, the amount of silver I can make at copper can fuel any other thing I want to do in the game. But you definitely need, I mean, in my opinion, you definitely need spod. If you're pre-spod, don't do copper trips, in my opinion. If you're 29 and you've unlocked copper and you're pre-spod, you can always do some testing. But usually what I hear is that copper doesn't respond that well to pre-spod fishing. Oh, a little safe. Cute little safe. Did we switch this down to 45? Yeah, we're using 45 on this, so we don't want the cod to hit us right now. Copper 6153 clip 5 red squid, post that active now. Oh yeah, it's so active, right, Bossy? I use 3 HSV for amber, and you need to be careful. I've had some real trouble. Oh, definitely. That's why it's so cool for lower level carp fishermen when the like pond spot at amber is active, or any spot that allows you to sort of trap the fish, you know, in a cove or whatever. That's a good option too, and we don't talk about that option that often, but when there's these, because recently, now this is not always the case, but recently there's been a string of really active shorthead barbel spots. I would say usually you'll either have that or buffalo or both, and so that's another really good way to make silver. I mean, that's not quite copper money, but it's close to it when it's good. So that's another really good option. Certainly that can be amber money. No. If you're using spod, for bream, at least when I was doing it, we did not use ground bait. So you're just using like, you know, a regular sinker, not a feeder cage, and then you're spotting into the spot that you're fishing on for the evening. With who did you have trouble? Listen, I've gotten spooled at amber on a Megara before. Y'all may not know Megara, because Tagara is more popular, but basically it's the strength of a Tagara. So you certainly can get spooled. I mean, you can run into trouble, but most fish you're going to be fine. And a lot of spots at amber, there's ways you can fish it to decrease the risk. Oh, that's cool, Snippo. Breams at night. Have grass carp been active at Oldberg? I really haven't paid attention. That's cool, though. That's a fun combo. It's always nice to get, like, the consistent silver of bream at night, but then have something fun to try to hit during the day. Same with like pike. Some people do that, bream and pike. Pike during the day, bream at night. Oh yeah, totally, Spirit. Spod feels slower than manually throwing growl bait. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I haven't seen that before, but I haven't played at Amber consistently in a long time, so I'm not sure. Oh, that's cool, Most Wanted. So grass carp have been healthy at Old Berg, huh? I'm sure they're using PVA. If people are getting really good grass carp at Old Berg, they've probably got PVA. I tell you, these sauries, like, they almost look like snakes coming out of the water. Or like little eels. They're healthy. Healthy size, though. We've already caught as many sorry, I think, as we caught the rest of the fish we've caught today. In a much shorter amount of time. Alright, now we're going to use a bigger setup for nighttime. And just see what else we can catch here. We'll let it go all the way to the bottom. What's your opinion on trolling at the sea? Yeah, I think it's lottery's probably good. I mean, I think if you put in the time, you're eventually going to hit some nice fish, most likely. But it's just so boring for me. And then when you hit something nice, it's like it's cool, but it takes a long time usually. I don't know. It's not my favorite. Not my favorite. It's. I think they could come out with a more fun way to troll. Let's put it that way. At Norway. I also just still think that I hope if they ever do another sea map that they will figure out a way to do bottom fishing out at out at sea. There's just like such cool possibilities you could do, like how people fish in real life. So I wish I was able to shoot spod rods without bait to make sure you're shooting at the right spot. Wait, what do you mean, Forka? Like you can cast your... You can clip anything you want at however far you're going to send it, right? And you can cast whatever you want there to see kind of where it's landing. Are you saying it's a farther spot than your spod rod is able to cast? Is that what you mean? Like it's not me hitting the clip? You just want to clip it, then you should be able to at least go to the right distance every time. Your spod rod is a bit shorter. Interesting. I wonder if the reel and the line you're using, could that be affecting how far you're casting? Or the test? Do you have the... Is the test in the range that it's supposed to be? I guess just double check those things. I don't know. You definitely want to be able to... You want to be able to hit your spot. I think I usually... What's the farthest I've spotted at? Maybe like 50? I don't love spotting that far, though. I think there's so much more of a chance that you're going to end up fishing to the left or right of where you've actually dropped the spod stuff. Test is in the correct range. Yeah. What is this going to be? A little saith or something? It like was swimming up so fast we had to catch up to it. Oh, it's a little whiting. Interesting. It's a pretty nice size whiting though. I was on the Lurker 107. We're getting some wind out here. All right, we're almost out of time on our 3-hour boat ticket, so I'm gonna consider that a sign and wrap it up after this fish. Let's see if we got any random cafes or anything like that. Oh, that's another saith. I like it. All right. Well, I'm going to take a break for lunch after I sell fish and see what I can do with that vacuum robot thing. But I may be back in a little while. I just haven't decided for sure if I'm going to do a WoW series on stream or I'll just do it on locally on YouTube. But if I do it on stream, I'll be back in a little while with that. All right, we do have a sorry order, so if you're out there catching sorry, don't forget about the cafe. That's 172 silver for 4 sorry. That is, that's really good. We didn't have a scallop that was that big, but that would have been nice. We did catch 1 lumpfish, right? Isn't it crazy we had 0 sculpins today? Trophy pollock would be nice. Didn't we have 1 lumpfish. They wanted a big lumpfish. All right, another 898. So that's over 1,000. Pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, thank y'all so much for hanging out. And if you want to come back for a little while, like I said, pretty good chance I'll be back, you know, a little bit later this afternoon. All right, tight lines, everybody. Y'all have a good one.